Hi everyone, Animal Girl here, back with another edition of Movie Talk. This week's video is on The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies. When Smaug attacks Lake Town, after discovering that Bilbo has broken into the underground mines of the Lowly Mountain, he's killed by Bard. However, Lake Town suffers terribly at the talons and fiery breath of the dragon, forcing the men to join forces with the Wood Elves against Bilbo and the dwarfs in exchange for a portion of the treasure hidden within. Thorin, meanwhile, is searching for a special jewel that belonged to his grandfather, one that Bilbo fears is taking control of his mind, and that he believes needs to be kept away from his friend for his own safety. Okay, highlights of the movie. This movie was made in 2014 and is the third of a trilogy based on the 1939 novel by J.R.R. Tolkien. The first being The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, and the second being The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. It follows the events of the first and second movies within the trilogy fairly well. Actually, better than any trilogy movie I've ever seen, as basically where one movie leaves off, the other one picks up. So it's like you could almost watch them back to back and not miss anything, because they literally pick up where the one before them leaves off. I mean, The Desolation of Smaug picks up where An Unexpected Journey leaves off, and Battle of the Five Armies picks up almost immediately where The Desolation of Smaug leaves off. So I do love that. I thought that made this is an extremely good trilogy. It also follows the events of the book fairly better than the animated movie did, just like its two prequels. And I feel, well, I shouldn't really say, well, yeah, I guess they would be prequels. Though, just like with the other two, the director did add some things to this movie that had nothing to do with the book. But considering the fact that this was made by the same film company that did the the Lord of the Rings trilogy, they were actually trying to tie this trilogy into the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is, okay, I get it, I understand that. Some people didn't read the books, so they don't realize there's much of a link. Really, the only link between The Hobbit and the the Lord of the Rings, book-wise, is the actual Ring of Power, and Gandalf and Gollum. That's about it. There's really no link. The Hobbit just basically tells you how the ring got into Bilbo's possession prior to the events of the Return of the Lord of the Rings, excuse me. So that's really the only link. The Hobbit is a standalone story in and of itself. So theoretically, they could have made this trilogy a standalone trilogy from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but they did choose to link them. And, I think they did a very good job of doing that very subtly. It didn't look like they were trying to force it in your face, like, hey, yeah, this is what's going on. We're linking this movie with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Blah, blah, blah. They didn't do that. I felt, yeah, they did it very subtly. It's a very good job. You wouldn't have picked up on it. I picked up on it because I actually read the book. So I'm like, I don't remember Legolas being in. I was watching The Desolation of Smaug, and I'm like, I don't remember Legolas being mentioned in The Hobbit at all. Of course, it'd been a while since I read the book, so I could have forgotten bits and pieces of that, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure I would have remembered it. I think he was only mentioned in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I went back and I double-checked, and I'm like, yeah, he wasn't in the book at all, and he's in the movie. I'm like, okay, well, I guess they're trying to tie the series, this trilogy in with the other trilogy, which is okay, I can accept that. another thing about this movie, it basically ends, I put here, it ends where Gandalf comes into the Fellowship of the Rings. It's not exactly true. It actually ends where he is reunited with Bilbo in the Fellowship of the Ring, so it kind of ends there. Again, the act, just like in the beginning of An Unexpected Journey, the director's trying to link this trilogy with the Fellowship of the Rings, which basically launched the Lord of the Rings movie trilogy. And I did like that. I really did. It made it look like, as this movie was progressing, these three movies were progressing from the beginning of An Unexpected Journey to the end of the Battle of the Five Armies. It was like Bilbo was looking back on this adventure. So I did like that. I thought, considering it came out after the Lord of the Rings trilogy, that was a very good way to do the movie. So I really, really liked that. Okay, actors in this movie, and they're basically all the same actors that were in the last movie. There really wasn't anybody new added to it. Once again, there were a number of other dwarfs and humans and elves in this movie, but just too numerous for me to list, so I just went with the main ones. Smaug is in this movie briefly at the beginning, so I did feel it was important to mention the person who did his voice. Okay, check out the related videos for this, or videos related to this one. Those are, of course, my movie talk videos on The Hobbit, the animated movie, my movie talk videos on the video on The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, and as well as my movie talk videos on The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, and The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. Oops. Excuse me, sorry about that. Movie talk video on The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. I'm sorry about that little typo. I put in the wrong movie when I was doing the related video thing, so I apologize for that. Question of the week. What did you think of how this trilogy was tied in with the Lord of the Rings trilogy? I mean, I mentioned what I thought of it, so I would like to know what you thought of how they tied the Hobbit trilogy in with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Please leave your answers in the comment section. Also, feel free to leave your comments and questions in the comment section. No need to comment on the typo I did. I noticed that, and I apologize for that. I meant to type in the Desolation of Smaug in the previous slide, and I guess I typed in the wrong one. Well, obviously I typed in the wrong one by accident. I'm sorry I didn't catch that before I started doing this video. So, you know, please just don't comment on that. Feel free to leave your, or also please like and subscribe. That helps me out a lot. And feel free to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and DeviantArt. I will have the links in the description section, but just in case there are problems with that, I have, you can hopefully see where my name's right there. Well, here, for DeviantArt, Tumblr, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, please note that all pictures seen within this video belong to their respective artists. I own absolutely nothing. And if I seem a little flustered, I apologize. I'm trying to get like a million things done right now. As I have 3 videos I'm trying to get out, as I want to do a comparison video now that I'm done with The Hobbit. So I apologize if I seem a little flustered. Quick reminder on my comment rules, and this will be the last week for that. Okay, feel free to check out my other movie talk videos, as well as my movie talk special edition videos, and my other videos. As always, thank you for watching and have a very nice day.